Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome back to Turner Mobile Detailing. Today I'm going to take you for a first-hand look at how I do a full mobile detail. And best of all, I'm going to get to show you and showcase to you my Predator 3500 inverter generator. Also, you're going to get to see DeWalt's new power washer, or as they call it, a power cleaner, in action. So if you're looking to start a mobile detailing business, or if you're looking to make your detailing business more profitable, more efficient, or maybe you're just a weekend warrior, especially if you live in an apartment or in a place where you don't have access to electricity or running water. Tools like these are an excellent way to get your vehicle looking amazing, even if you don't have access to electricity or running water. Now, our project for today is the 2019 F-150 you see behind me. So how we're going to start off this morning is the first thing I always do is clean the door jambs. For fully mobile jobs, I actually just use a pump sprayer for this, but we're going to get the generator fired up so I can get my steamer warmed up. That way, by the time I'm done cleaning door jambs, my steamer is nice and hot, and you'll get to see the Predator in action a little bit. What I'm going to try to do today is give you as much of a look at the Predator 3500 generator as I possibly can. I've got the camera positioned, so hopefully you can see me working somewhat in the background while the generator is running. Now, this thing will run most of the morning. I do have another setup to clean the exterior, which I don't really need the generator. However, I do primarily use the generator for doing the interiors because I have to run equipment such as a steamer, a vacuum, an extractor, and all those are heavy wattage. But the 3500 does an excellent job in keeping up with all of them. It's a 3500 startup at 3000 continuous watts running. So as I go through the detail and as the video progresses, I'll tell you what each machine I'm running is pulling, how many machines I'm running at the same time, and how the generator is keeping up. So without further ado, cue the intro. In the time that I've been using this Predator 3500, I've found it to be extremely reliable, especially on a cold startup. I usually don't do a ton of fully mobile detail jobs, so the generator sits for 3 to 4 weeks on average at a time without being used. But every time I take it out to use, the Pred fires right up with no problem. On a cold start, you just set the dial to start, make sure economy mode is off, and just press the start button. So I just turned on the steamer. One of the benefits of this generator, being an inverter generator, is that it's super quiet. I have raised my voice just a little bit to talk to you. And if you notice, the generator did kick on a little heavier now that it's taking on the load of the steamer. But what we're going to do now that the generator has been running for a minute or two is kick it on eco mode. So that whenever it can, it'll drop down and idle. This not only saves in noise, but also will save in fuel. A vehicle this size, like an F-150, or really any other size, I can do about 3 interiors on 1 tank of gas. It takes 2.5 gallons of regular gas, and of course you want to use stable fuel stabilizer also. Now I just want to note really quick that there's a lot of other information online about this generator, and that you really should use ethanol-free gasoline, which is true. If you have access to it, you really should use it. However, it can be very costly and hard to find. So there is a sticker on top of the generator. Harbor Freight does say that you can use gasoline with up to 10% ethanol content. However, no E85. Okay, so while our steamer is warming up, let's get those door jambs clean. Now, it is a good idea to keep your battery on a tender, especially if you're not going to be using it for a while. That way the electric start will work when you go to use it if it's been sitting for a while. So it took me about 15 minutes to clean all the door jambs. The Predator is still running just fine, and now that the steamer has reached optimal temperature, we can begin the rest of our detail. Also, by the time I finished the door jambs and the steamer reached optimal temperature, it was no longer drawing a current from the generator, so it dropped down into eco mode and dropped the decibel level considerably. I love this feature about inverter generators. So now we're using our vacuum, which pulls about 1,000 watts, and we've got our steamer still running in the background. And the generator is still going strong. So now we're using our extractor, which runs between 1100 and 1200 watts. And of course, we still got our steamer running at 1500 watts in the background, and the generator doesn't skip a beat. Okay, so we've gone through the whole interior. Our first phase is done. All hard and touch surfaces have been scrubbed and cleaned, as well as steamed. We've done a little bit of vacuuming on the interior, and we vacuumed and extracted the carpeted floor mats. So we were running the steamer and the vacuum and the extractor, sometimes simultaneously, and the Predator generator had no problem keeping up. So it's about 9:45 a.m. We started up the generator at 8:30 a.m. So it's been running for almost an hour and a half. Again, no problems, no hiccups. There's been no lag in any of my machines or in my equipment that I've been using. So right now, with the generator off, I'm going to go ahead and get all the glass cleaned up, and then we'll come back when it's time to do the upholstery. Now, since these are cloth seats, I'll be extracting them, and again, I'll be using the generator to run the extractor. All right, so our glass is all done. What I've gone ahead and already done is scrub down all the upholstery, all the fabric seats with my drill and drill brush attachment. And now what I'm going to do is get the generator started back up again. I'm going to vacuum down any loose debris that the drill brush kicked up on the seats, and then we're going to go ahead and extract them. And it's a little after 11 a.m. Okay, so after I've done the vacuuming of the upholstery seats, the extracting of the upholstery seats, and then the initial vacuuming of the carpets, off camera I went ahead and scrubbed the carpets down with Purple Power and my carpet scrubbing brushes. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is do a final vacuum of the carpets now that the drill brushes have picked up any embedded dirt and debris that was inside the carpets that we couldn't get during our initial vacuuming. And for that, you guessed it, we're going to fire up our Predator 3500 inverter generator. Okay, so that's about it for the Predator 3500 inverter. We've got the interior basically done. I've just got to do a few small things like put the mats back in and dress the interior, and then that's it. But everything that we needed the Predator generator for is done. It's about noon now, so we started at 8:30, so that's 3.5 hours. Take out about an hour for the times that we didn't need the generator, that we didn't have it running. So that means we ran it for about 2.5 hours this morning. No problems. We had one small hiccup in starting it up one time, and I believe that was just because I had my extension cord plugged into it while I was trying to start it, which technically you're not supposed to do, but it's still fired up anyway. So all in all, I really love this generator. It's small, compact, relatively lightweight, and one of the biggest things that I love about it is that you can see by the height, I can actually close my bed cover, my tonneau cover, over top of it. So I can close it up at night. I don't have to worry about taking it out of the truck immediately. I can close it up, lock it up at night. I don't have to keep my bed cover open while I'm driving, and it stays protected from the weather. So I'm going to go ahead and button up the interior, and I'll bring you back in when it's time to get our exterior started. Okay, so it's time to start our exterior process. Being fully mobile today, not dependent on the client's water or power at all, we're going to be using our DeWalt power washer, or power cleaner as they call it. This thing maxes out at 500 psi, which is better than the rigid version, better than the Works Hydro Shot, and I believe Ryobi makes one also, and this produces higher psi than that also. So what I usually do is carry 1 to 2 5-gallon buckets full of water. I have twist-on caps, as you can see here, and the other end of this hose just sits right in that water and siphons the water up to the machine. Now it does take 20 to 30 seconds initially to draw the water up, and then you have to do that again if you let the machine sit for a few minutes. Now bear in mind, I don't do a full foam wash as if I was at a customer's home and I had access to their water and I was using my pressure washer. Rather, I use this to simply rinse the vehicle down, get all the loose debris and contaminants off the paint, and I use this to clean the wheels. That's about it. That will take me 5 to 10 gallons. On a larger vehicle like this, it may take me a little bit more than 5 gallons. But today, I've actually only brought the 1 bucket because if I do need extra water, I have access to it inside. I can get some more. But this truck is fairly clean. There's not a lot of visible dirt and grime like mud and such. So I think 5 gallons will do it for a full initial rinse down and to clean the wheels and tires. And then for our actual contact wash, we're going to be using distilled water in O&R. So the first thing we're going to be doing is cleaning the wheels. Now, one downside to a method like this is that because there is a lower PSI and a lower flow of water, it does take a little bit longer to rinse off something that's heavily soiled and heavily sudsed up like a wheel and tire. Okay, so there it is, one-time clean. We're going to clean the tire one more time. I like to clean my tires at least twice. That way it gives the tire dressing a better opportunity to bond to the rubber. Okay, so the tire has been cleaned 2 times. One major improvement I would make to this, and I've already contacted DeWalt, reached out to them to let them know, is that I really wish this came with a snub nose attachment. This long 18 to 24 inch wand can be extremely cumbersome. Not only when you're washing a vehicle, in this case wheels and tires, you got to step back awfully far to use it, which in this case you're outside the vehicle, it's not all that bad. But where I find it most cumbersome is if I'm trying to clean door jambs. Sometimes when you're cleaning a door jamb, you've got to get your pressure washer right in there close. You've got to contort it so it goes inside the vehicle almost. And to do that with something this long, you've got 18 to 24 inch wand, and then the machine itself has got to be another 12 to 14 inches, including the back end of the battery. So DeWalt, if you're watching, please give us a snub nose attachment. So enough about that. I'm going to go ahead and clean the rest of the wheels and tires, and when I come back, I'll let you know exactly how much water we've used so far. Okay, so all the wheels and tires have been thoroughly cleaned and rinsed, and the tires themselves have been cleaned and rinsed twice. Now, as you can see, as we look inside the bucket, we've only got about maybe a quarter gallon left out of 5 gallons. All in all, not terrible. This is a full-size pickup truck, so you can expect to use more materials, more water. So I did bring an extra gallon of water today, and I already went and put that in the bucket. So now we're going to go ahead and do our initial rinse down of the entire vehicle. One small drawback that I've noticed about the DeWalt power cleaner is that it tends to get a little finicky when you're trying to use it off level. Meaning sometimes when you tilt it up or down, the pump inside the machine can get a little sporadic and you can lose your spray pressure until you level the tool off and it repressurizes. Alright, so we got the truck rinsed down and we are basically out of water. I actually had to add another half a gallon that I had left over in my pump sprayer from earlier today. But we had just enough. We got the whole truck rinsed down. And to be honest, 6+ gallons, so say 6 1/4, 6.5 gallons. We have a very tiny bit left on the bottom of the bucket, so say 6 1/4 gallons is not that bad to clean and rinse big truck tires. And mind you, rinse the tires twice and then rinse down the entire vehicle once. 6 1/4 gallons is not that bad. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and finish washing the truck. I'm going to finish detailing the exterior, and then I'll bring you back in to see the final results. And I'll give you my final thoughts on the Predator 3500 inverter generator and the DeWalt power cleaner. So here are some before pictures. And now let's take a look at our after footage. So as you can see, the truck came out really nice, both inside and out. So as I give you my final thoughts on the Predator 3500 inverter generator and my DeWalt 550 PSI power cleaner, let's take a look at our final results. My Predator 3500 did exactly what I needed to do for as long as I needed to do it for. It ran my high wattage equipment, sometimes simultaneously. My steamer runs at 1500 watts, and sometimes I was running my vacuum and or my extractor at the same time, which run at about 1000 watts each. And running at least 2 pieces of high wattage equipment at the same time, the generator didn't skip a beat. So I highly recommend the Predator 3500 inverter generator if you're going to be running a mobile auto detailing business, or for any other task that you need a small, relatively lightweight but high wattage generator for. And as for my DeWalt power cleaner, if you keep it within the realm of what it was designed to do, it does a great job. It's reliable, it's consistent. I didn't have much, if any, sputtering or problems with the motor siphoning water. I was able to blast off a decent amount of road grime and loose dirt and contaminants. But just to remember, with a machine like this, to keep your expectations within what it was designed to do. You're not going to be powering a foam cannon with this. If you buy the kit, they do give you a quote-unquote foam cannon. However, that thing you can keep right in the packaging or throw it away altogether because it's pretty much useless. But really, this machine was not meant to power a foam cannon, but it does a great job rinsing off wheels, rinsing off paint, and paired with a rinseless wash, it does an awesome job. So if you enjoyed this content, and if you found it helpful and informative, please don't hesitate to give us a like down below. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel so you don't miss any future auto detailing content just like this. So thanks again for watching. As always, I'm Seth with Turner Mobile Detailing, and we'll see you in the next video.